Hello and welcome. Welcome to today's meditation. There has been such upheaval, both on a personal level, although nothing that's immediately a threat to me. But if you've been following some of the news, the conflict that was taking place between Israel and Gaza, having family in Israel, in the south of Israel, seeing their fear and misery, noticing and recognizing the fear and misery in Gaza. Very easy to turn helpless when events such as this are taking place, but it's also easy to turn helpless when someone you deeply care about is going through a very difficult time and there is very little you can do to change that or fix it. For people like me with some type A personality traits, there's a need to be constructively helpful. And I see it in myself that if I find that I cannot be constructively helpful, meaning I can't provide a solution, I can't really fix the problem, it's very hard for me. And then I need to stay present with that suffering and not turn away from it and find a way to just be. Human beings, me included, there's a tendency to avoid suffering, to reject it, to walk away from it. And while that's really understandable from a kind of a survival point of view, it's not very helpful. And by turning away, walking away, we are causing harm to ourselves and to others. The Buddhist practice, meditation practice of Tonglen, addresses this specific issue. And it teaches us a way to be with suffering. And while we perhaps cannot fix it, we can wish for it to end. And today we'll practice Tonglen. This is an advanced practice, and for some people, it may be simply not comfortable. Perhaps not comfortable enough that you should just simply not do it. So as we go through this process today, I truly invite you to be kind to yourselves. And if at any point in time in the practice, things seem to be too much, walk away from that and do something different. And perhaps you return to it another time, dip your toes in the water of suffering again and see how you feel. Tonglen is a part of my daily life. I use it as what has become really an automatic process of breathing in a quality that is dark, that is foggy, that is difficult. When I notice suffering in myself or in others, and then breathing out light with the hope that suffering will be alleviated. Tonglen literally means sending and receiving. receiving the difficulty, taking it in, not shying away from it, not walking away from it, and then breathing out light with the intention of alleviating suffering. As always, I invite you to find a comfortable position. And then gently close your eyes. I'm reminding you that at any point in time, if this becomes uncomfortable or simply doesn't feel right for you, you can stop the practice. Please tune into your breath. Soon the bell will sound, indicating the beginning of today's practice. Notice the breath as it is, as your focal point, inviting the attention to rest on the breath. Perhaps the rise and fall of the chest. If the breath is uneasy or difficult, let the attention rest where the body connects to the surface on which you're lying or sitting. As you breathe in, simply being present with breathing in. And as you breathe out, be present with the out breath. As you tune into your breath, this breath in, this breath out. Notice if thoughts come out, emotions, distractions. And simply acknowledge that presence, perhaps name it thoughts, emotions, and then return to your breath. Let the breath carry you, guide you into today's practice. In and out. Simply being with your breath. This is an imaginary process, or I should say, a process that relies on imagination. Each breath, as it comes in, see it as having a quality, a denseness, a darkness, a fogginess, a smokiness. Perhaps you can imagine your beautiful heart as a crystal ball shaped like a heart. On the in-breath, you can see the glass is being filled with dark smoke. On the exhale, The smoke disperses, light shines, and you breathe out a beautiful, healing light. Link your intention to your breath. On the inhale, you invite the smoky darkness of suffering, of difficulty. You invite it into your heart, knowing on the exhale it is being transformed into the light of goodness, of kindness, the light of compassion. Simply practice just this. On the inhalation, a dark, smoky quality of difficulty, suffering, and negativity. As it transforms in your heart, you exhale the beautiful light of kindness, of compassion, of goodness. Take a moment, in and out, breathing in, seeing that beautiful heart depicted as a crystal ball, filled with dark, smoky heaviness. Transforming it, breathing out, a light of goodness and kindness, the light of compassion. Let us make it tangible now. Choose a living being that is close to you, a human, an animal that is suffering. As you bring them in your mind's eye, you care so deeply about them. See them. See their suffering, their difficulty. On the in-breath, breathe it all into your heart. This dark, heavy quality of suffering. And see it transform in your heart. The fog disperses, the smoke clears. As on the exhale, breathing out light towards them, engulfing them with a deep intention for their suffering to be alleviated. As you breathe out, your affectionate heart radiates soothing, gentleness, confidence and happiness, deep care for your loved one. Even if there is no action to be taken, this in itself, an expression of compassion and love. On the in-breath, breathing in the darkness of their suffering. On the out-breath, radiating a soothing light that touches, resources, reassures, and comforts them. Let us now extend this practice to more people or beings that are suffering. Perhaps you envision a group of people, a family, a nation, people of color, people of a certain gender. It is a choice that you are making. Whom and who do you consciously bring into this meditation? And just like before, as you breathe in the darkness, the smokiness, the heaviness of suffering, illness, and difficulty, unhappiness, see that crystal ball in your heart filled with that foggy, smoky, dark presence. And as you exhale, see it transform. The fog disperses, the smoke dissipates, light shines from your heart, infused with the intention of alleviating their suffering, enhancing their well-being. Breathing in suffering, misery, sadness, illness. Breathing out the light of your healing heart, your natural goodness, your kindness, your compassion shining through, touching the world with its grace. Practice as I grow silent for just a few minutes. If the burden of suffering feels like suffering for yourself, turn this practice towards you, breathing in your own heaviness, smokiness, suffering and difficulty, and breathing out the light that is now residing in your heart, dispersing the smoke, lightening the load, the light of your goodness turn towards you, and then return to practice for others. Take a moment. Can you expand and include even more in your practice? You have started with one being that you deeply care for, and then expanded the practice perhaps for a group. Can you see yourself? Can you envision the crowds of suffering. Perhaps you see the people in India under the heavy burden of illness. Perhaps you can bring them on the inhale, the heaviness, the smokiness, literally, of the fires, the misery of grave illness for so many. Take it in, see it in that crystal heart of yours, smoky, thick, heavy, and on the exhale, the transformation, a lightness, the smoke disperses, a beam of light, many beams of light shining with your pure intention of alleviating their suffering. The light of your basic goodness, your kindness, your compassion, your true wish for their well-being. There are so many people that are suffering. Suffering is part of our human experience, of this adventure that we call life. Can you turn towards it? Can you face it? Grounded by the light in your heart, not turning away, simply being present on the out-breath, the light of your goodness, your true wish and desire shines through, alleviating suffering, with your intention. Sometimes there is nothing that you can do. At times there is nothing that you can say. As you come back to this commitment of being with suffering, breathing in the darkness, the misery, the suffering, the negativity, the heart filled with this imagery, dark smoke and heaviness, and then see it transform as if by the magic of your own compassion. Light fills your beautiful transparent heart and then spills towards all who need it. Breathing in suffering, breathing out happiness and its causes, allowing your heart's natural goodness to shine through and touch the world. As you go about your day, notice. Perhaps you notice the suffering of a fellow human being. Perhaps you recognize the suffering of other living beings. As you practice Tonglen, just a few breaths in and out, and you find yourself turning towards suffering with your true wish of spreading happiness and well-being, the intention of alleviating suffering. Breathing in, breathing out. I invite you to let that go now, as you simply return to your breath as it is. The attention can go to the rise and fall of the chest with each breath, or perhaps to where the body connects to the surface on which you're sitting or lying. The breath simply there. Thoughts come up. You may label them thoughts and send them drifting away as you return to your breath as it is. Contemplate using this beautiful practice in your day-to-day. A friend calls you upset. Your child unhappy. You watch the news. Now there is something to be done. A way of turning towards suffering. Allowing us to partner with our breath, with our intention, in our true desire to alleviate suffering for others and for ourselves. Compassion is the way. In just a moment, I'm going to ring the bell. Indicating the completion of today's practice. You may invite movement gently to the body. Breathing out light for yourself, for those you care about, for those you don't even know, but your heart is touched by their plight. Wishing you a beautiful day. Sending light your way. Until we see each other again, goodbye.